one, or doesn't it automatically?
Mine you have to toggle. It's the same brand, so I always toggle.
So I pause. No, I could. Yeah, you're right. You do have to. Oh, I could have had a missed cube or two there.
Mind flipping your phone over? Not having
Oh, sure. That's tracking.
Yeah.
No, I understood.
Well,
Understood.
especially since it's streamed.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you don't cheat, but
Yeah.
it's technically.
Well, I got Brandon sending me some plays.
Yeah.
I think you play 2 4s. This is going to play better when you play a 4 and a 3.
This is the original?
Yes, sir. Got to be better, right? Nah, you wish it was split.
Yes, I will. I'm putting.
I think the Jerry Wilson background on you. Are you for real?
Okay, now we're gonna add me. I don't think it's gonna work, but I'm gonna do it anyway because I feel like it.
Can you check the video that's coming through and make sure it looks okay?
Yes. Custom. Okay. Yeah, no, it won't work. What?
Yeah,
oh,
I can see
yeah.
it flashing. Yeah, no,
Yeah, I kind of figured. All right, well then I can stop with this silliness and change
video
this
looks
to.
fine now, right?
Yeah, video looks good.
Okay.
All right, I think we're here, and we've upgraded to my personal laptop, which means that, let's see, this means that I can do some XG analysis and be more confident with some of my answers, or confidently tell you that I was wrong. That looks like an illegal play. Yes, it was. Glad they caught it. It probably was a joke. I think Roberto is pretty sharp with this kind of thing that he knows. And of course, Rory and them play jokes on each other. So Rory's going to make the 7 point. This builds a nice little prime. Certainly Rory has an advantage here. Looks like he's up 4-1 in the match. That's kind of fun for him, not for Roberto. They're playing to 13. I'm setting up the transcription here, so give me just a minute. We're in Charlotte, and the event is the Masters Queen City Cup. Okay. So I suspect we're coming up on a cube decision here. Maybe they've done it since I've looked away. Rory is looking at his play and he's attacking. This makes a lot of sense when your opponent has a bunch of spare blots around the board. You're not as worried about getting hit back. You're slotting the front of your prime. It's a pretty good play. 2-5 is one of the worst numbers Roberto could roll. I think he probably is passing this cube either way. So I'm not sure the 5 mattered much. I am going to just set up for the next. Yeah, so he was passing, and he knew he was passing. He wasn't worried about it. All right, so I'm set up for the next game here. I am curious about what XG thinks about that cube, but I'm not going to go back because I suspect they'll get started right away. So we'll have to wait and see the transcription later. All right, so we open with a 6-2 for Roberto. And Rory's playing a 4-5. So this 4-5, often you have to slash because your opponent has way too much opportunity. Not often, but it's a consideration. Would have worked. In this case, Rory made the kind of the standard down and up, and Roberto rolled a 6-6. It looks like hitting was correct. 2, 3, 3. Okay, so we've got the 6s played. 6-4, not the best reply. Rory's going to pop out. Roberto's should consider cubing here because of the score. It is a 0.012 cube. It's fine if he doesn't double this. One problem with doubling this against a strong player like Rory is you know that there's zero chance he passes incorrectly, right? He just knows to take. It's an easy take. So that's the reason not to send it. 4-4, however, is probably a pretty big market loss. So this is why you were supposed to. On plus, it ends up being a 0.04 double. 4-4, I think we're going to make the 5 and hit. But this is a big play, and you're not going to be able to get the cube in after this play. So there may be another play where, because he didn't double, he's supposed to play a little bit differently. I'm gonna ask XG. I'm not really sure. Yeah, so there is a different play because the cube's not in. The play that wins the most is actually to make the 5 and to play from 18 to 14 twice. This would be what you'd call the DMP play. The better play, because it wins more gammons, is to make the 5 and slash on the 10. However, the best play, because the cube is not turned, is just to make the 5 with both checkers. And then what you're going to do is you're going to get the cube in next roll. So this play it's a solid play. It's barely worse than the other play. But what's not going to happen after this play is Roberto's not going to get an efficient cube in. He's going to either roll on or it's just going to be a pass. Now with double 2, we'll find out which of those it is, if I'm correct or not. And by the way, those 2 plays were very close, making the 5 with both or the play that was made. So this is not something that anybody should be upset about, as far as making the air quotes wrong play. All right, so double 2, let me put that in. It looks like Rory passed. And let's find out. Yeah, as a matter of fact, this was still too good. So I wasn't sure either. I definitely don't fault Roberto for doubling this. Even though in the same game we didn't send a cube that we know was an easy take, I'm now going to tell you that it's okay to double these if they're if they're big passes, because sometimes your opponent takes. So that's the problem with the cube. It really there's a lot of over the board intuition and experience against another player that's involved. In this case, I think Roberto technically got it wrong twice, and if he could do it over, he probably would. So we're going to double pass. Now on this game, we've got an opening 6-2 by Rory. So we're going to toss that in, and then we've got a 6-2 by Roberto. 5-2 makes the point, or doesn't make the point. It hits the checker. 4-2. So now this is interesting. You really want a forward anchor in backgammon generally. So this makes sense just to go ahead and make the 22 point. Some people get caught up thinking that they want to make the 23 or the 20, the 21 or the 20. They are better points, but sometimes you just have to take the point you can make, and that's what Roberto correctly did. 5-4 now. Kind of an annoying number. There's nothing obvious to do. These are the ones where there might just be a right play, but it's hard to tell. I like this. You want to move those back checkers forward when you can, and you want to create ways to make points. So this was the correct play. Did not work out this time. 5-3 comes out and hits. Now we have 6-1. 6-1 is interesting. It's not very often that you end up making an outside point like the 16 point. So, most of us are going to just instinctively not even consider it. And he was right. It was not the right play to make the 16, but it was close. Comes around with the 6 and instead gets hit with the 4-1, which is a pretty clear play. Rory did not double there. He should have looked at it. It looks like it's close. But what this would be called is a pointless double. And what that means is you don't have an inner board point. And usually with a pointless double, a double that you're sending where you don't have an inner board point, it's just an easy take. It's very hard for these to be passes. So most people don't send these because it's just too easy for their opponent to take. I did go ahead and plus it. It was a small no double with the plus, so it was fine either way. And so now Rory rolled 1-1. This is a strong number. This is actually potentially has market loss in it because it's such a big number. Interesting. Roberto missed the correct play the roll prior. I don't know if you caught that, but with his double 2, he could have stepped up and made the 20 point. I don't know if he didn't look at it or if he just thought he was too far behind in the race to try to play a 20-point holding game, but it was the right idea to go ahead and make the 20 point there. I don't know if I would have done it either. It's one of those tough decisions where when you think you're in a back game, you don't want to step up too far because it makes a back game very difficult to play. Rory didn't double. It's possible that he's worried that he's too far ahead, but as far as in the match score, but the fact is that Roberto does not have the timing needed to play a 1-3 back game. Roberto is only behind by 45 pips. And so that's not enough. And so Rory should be doubling this and making sure that he wins the maximum. Oh, yeah. It was. I did that so I could see better. I forgot that they want to see me. Yeah. Thank you. That's Graham, our stream coordinator, I'm going to call him. The whole staff here at Charlotte is awesome. We've got Paul, Andy, Graham, and Jess, and this is a fully family-run tournament, and they're doing a great job. They've got a nice turnout. This is the first year that Charlotte's back in a while. Love to see it. 6-3 from Roberto. I think he's realizing now that he is in big timing trouble. It is entirely possible that Rory thinks he's too good to double here, and it's not far off. In fact, if I look at his two rolls ago, it was 0.87 from being too good. Last roll, it was 0.1 from being too good. So even though these are, they're blunders to not double, if that's what's going through his head, then it's okay. If instead he thinks that he's not good enough, well, that's an error, and he needs to sit there, reevaluate the race, realize that his opponent does not have a well-timed 1-3 game. Oh no, and I just realized in all of my talking throughout this last while, I have the scores reversed. So what that means is all these cube decisions could be different. Sorry about that. Let me fix that and see what happens. Okay, fortunately, it didn't change much. It looks like the cubes are just different, but not wrong. Okay, so I'm caught up now, 6-5. Oh, except that I didn't get the cube in. Son of a gun. All right, I'm gonna just transcribe for a moment. That way I can keep up and give you guys some information. But then I need to go back and fix this, and when I can. All right, I am caught back up. We got a 3-1 for Rory. He's just going to make the 2-point. 3-2 for Roberto. He's going to bring it in. You don't want to split here just because there's too many good numbers, and as far as I can see quickly, no bad numbers for Rory. So you just want to leave yourself with the anchor. That way Rory doesn't have ways to point on you or pick pass and force you to come off that point. 5-4 is interesting. You can consider playing what appears to be safer by taking bull checkers off the back. In reality, it may not be safer. He's going to count through the numbers and try to figure out if it's safer or not, and if it's worth giving up some gammons in order to play safer. Roberto rolls a 4-1 and comes out. By the way, Rory did make the correct play, and it worked out. 6-4 takes 2 off here instead of 1. And 5-5 should save the gammon. I think that Roberto's going to be forced to run because otherwise he breaks his board anyway. But let's see what the bot thinks. Yes, the bot likes running. It's close. If he decides to stay and try to hit a shot, it's not terrible, but he does actually have. Oh no! It actually no. Sorry, it changed. Okay, so we are not running. It's close, like I said, but it is in fact correct to stay. You win 4% by staying, even though you do crack your board. 1-1's not the number he was hoping for. Rory is interesting. I think he shifts. I think he double shifts, but let's find out what the bot thinks. No, not a double shift. Again, very close. These are one of those plays where without the computer, I would not have been able to really tell you anything. And I got to assume that what they do is correct. But you are supposed to take 3 checkers off. If you take 3 checkers off, you're almost guaranteed to win the game, 99.5%. And you still win almost as many gammons as if you shift. But by shifting, you actually don't win the game as much. Again, it's very close, but the reason you don't win the game as much if you shift is because you're giving your opponent the chance to dance a few times and then make the points. This is kind of an in-between play, also fine, but not as good. This one actually wins basically 100% of the time, but it doesn't win as many gammons. All right, so what we're going to have now is 7-2, which is 6 away, 11 away. Roberto's talking about not taking a checker off in order to create a decision, but it would actually be a mistake because then Rory would have 2 doubles that he could roll in order to win a gammon. Rory actually asked me a very similar question between games because he made a mistake of that fashion where he didn't take a checker off and he thought that it was going to create a decision, but in reality it gave his opponent the chance to win a gammon. And he asked me how big of an error I thought it was. In that case, he had 4 rolls that would have lost the gammon, and I thought maybe it was a 0.2 error. We'll find out. If you're curious about that, you can check out both of these players' matches on the Backgammon Awarding Body website, bgmasters.com, I believe it is. The Backgammon Awarding Body is the organization that gives titles for performance, much like you might see in chess. And that organization is mostly run on people submitting their own files, but also individual tournaments where all matches are submitted, also known as BMAB events. Rory has an interesting 6-3 here. He can make the 7-point or he can hit twice. He does have a forward anchor, so I lean towards hitting twice. And of course, there is play C where you hit once just from 13 to 4. And actually, that play is probably better. Yeah, let's see what he decides, if he's going to make that play or if he's going to hit twice. They should all be pretty close. Let's put it into XG here, see what it says. Yeah, they are. Hitting once is a little bit better than hitting twice. And making the 7 is pretty far behind. I am curious if that's what Rory was considering, or if, like me, he didn't see the hit once till last or at all. 5-4 is really good. I'm not sure what he's looking at. He should be hitting and making the ace. He just didn't see it. That's what he's telling Roberto right now, I think. But there's only one play here, and I think Rory realizes that now. Yeah. Generally, when you're playing backgammon, if you slot the ace point, you want to make it. You don't really want to lose all that race. Wow, 6-4 is very good. Certainly not a super duper joker, but you love being able to point on your opponent and put him back 2 in the air. He's got to consider doubling this. And he does. Okay, yes. Let's see what Roberto thinks of it. Roberto correctly takes. Rory does not really have enough checkers in the zone to win enough gammons to force a pass here. 4-6 is not an ideal roll. 5-6 is very good. Rory is looking to continue this blitz and close Roberto out. 6-1, yeah. Unfortunately, Roberto is just not getting the rolls. 5-5 is amazing for Rory. He's going to bring the last checker all the way around from the back and give himself 6-1-2 combinations to make the point. Also, things like double 2 works. 6-3 is a fan, and double 2, like I said, it works. So now he's going to close the prime out and just try to bring this around safely. 2-3 is okay. He's probably going to come all the way out, leaving a bad double 1, but it's not terrible. When you do this, double 6 is bad, but it's not actually that bad either, so it's fine. 6-2 comes around. This is kind of annoying because this does leave a bad double 6, but it's not always something you worry about. 6-5, okay. I don't know if that was the right way to do it, but it doesn't matter too much. 2-3, he clears from the back. 1-3. I think he's going to take a checker off and just leave the distribution with 1 extra checker on the 4 and the 3. It might be right to clear from the back, but you do leave immediate bad numbers, so it's not always the right idea. 6-5 is basically forced. Roberto rolls 5-3. 5-3, okay, same idea. We have to take a checker off, but now we do have some bad numbers. Roberto's pretty happy with 4-2, I think. 4-5, there we go. We got our shots. Roberto would love to roll a 4 here. He's pausing to probably just chat, but he could be considering the cube. It's not going to be right, and he knows that, but he's in such bad shape that, he has to stop and consider for the match, is it worth just a big risk to try to win 4 or 8 points, or well, just 4 points. 5-1 is safe, and Rory's going to play it this way. I don't think it actually matters much, but it is the safest play. 6-3. Roberto's going to resign a gammon at some point here, but he's going to take a few rolls just to see if he gets lucky. (5-3). Roberto may leave these 2 checkers back, at least one of them back, just to create a decision next roll. Now, I talk about these decisions. Both of these guys are always trying to improve their backgammon Masters Awarding Body profiles. They both realize it's not, these extra few decisions that are going to drop their PR a tiny bit, don't necessarily translate into them being this better player, but the way the system works is if you hit a title, you keep the title. So they like the idea of just getting a few extra decisions, trying to grind out just that little bit lower PR, because it could be that during one of their matches during a tournament, they tag, just barely get under the threshold for the next title, and then they get the title. In fact, I do think this happened for Rory in what tournament was it? I don't remember what tournament it was, but I think last year during the tournament, he just barely clipped the title, that he was hunting for. And maybe it wasn't Rory, but anyway, it's important. These titles are very meaningful. They both put in thousands upon thousands of hours to try to achieve the title and the recognition that they've that they're going for. All right, so enough about that. They both played that last game nearly perfectly. And it's 11-2. So what you're going to see at this score, Rory needs 2 points and Roberto needs 11 points. So what you're going to see at the score is Roberto is going to double very aggressively. He knows that if he loses the game, he's likely to lose the match anyway, that if he loses a gammon, he's going to lose the match. So anytime that he can just sniff some wins, some gammons, he wants to get the cube in. That way his gammons pay 4 points instead of 2. And it looks like they're taking a break. We'll be back. Actually, while we're here, why don't I tell everyone about the upcoming tournaments. In case you missed it, the Texas tournament was unfortunately canceled due to venue issues. They were renovating, I guess, and they are unable to open on time. If you're interested in supporting the Texas tournament in Bill and Tara, they do run online events that you can participate in. And of course, I'm sure they'd love to hear from you. Also coming up, we have the Atlanta Backgammon Championships. This event is in just a few weeks here. Let's see, it's on February. Let me pull up the calendar just to give you the right dates. It is on February 27th in Atlanta, the 15th Atlanta Classic. Rooms are available, but only until like February 4th or 7th, so something like that. Make sure you go book your room. This tournament is actually it's under new management, which is Jonathan Hardigree. Jonathan Hardigree has experience working many tournaments across the country, including Chicago, Cherry Blossom. Let's see, he worked Florida. He is a great guy, and I hope that you'll support him in this new tournament, or this, taking over the Atlanta tournament. After that, we have the Ohio State Championships. It's the 30th Ohio State Championships in Cleveland, Ohio. That one run by Joe Miller, along with Jonathan Hardigree again, actually, runs March 20th through 23rd. Rooms still available there as well. Hope to see you there. After that, we have the Cherry Blossom Backgammon Championships. That, of course, is my tournament, along with Paul and Andy and Jonathan, who are all here this weekend in Charlotte. Jonathan Hardigree, he's actually working 3 tournaments in a row, funny enough. Paul is the director here of Charlotte, but also is my co-director with for the Cherry Blossom Backgammon Championships. And then Andy and Paul are together. They come as a pair and just do an amazing job helping with the tournament, doing things like the technology, the registration, making decisions when I can't be there. Last year we had 100 and I think it was 59 or 100. I think it was 160. It was something like that. Players, which is our biggest attendance ever, and we hope to continue building on that. The tournament is April 9th through 13th. After that, we've got the Chicago Open. This Chicago Open is always an amazing tournament in Chicago, of course, run by Rory Pascar, along with help from his family and friends. I believe Jonathan Hardigree is also working that tournament 4 in a row, funny enough. But also Amelia Pascar, Rory's daughter, and Caitlin, Rory's cousin, will be there working, helping. Always a great tournament. Let's see. I'll mention 2 more here. St. Louis, new dates for St. Louis. Last year, St. Louis was later in the year. This year, it's June 19th through 22nd. David Todd and Jim Farrer run a great tournament, and looking forward to that one. And sorry, I skipped over LA. So June 12th through 15th is the Los Angeles Open. This is this tournament's going to have the Hall of Fame dinner. So people will be recognized at this tournament for their ABT wins, for the Hall of Fame we have some people, going into the Hall of Fame, the Backgammon Hall of Fame, and they always run a great show. This is Candace Mayron, Patrick Gibson, and Frank Talbot all out there working. There will also be a BMAB event at all of these tournaments. So if you're interested in the Players Cup BMAB events, make sure you go early to the tournament. And I guess, let's see, after that, we have the 50th Michigan Summer Backgammon Championships. This tournament, traditionally hosted by Carol Joy Cole, has now changed hands, and it's going to be run by me, Ben Friesen, and Dan Minardi, along with help from the people who have been helping us, Butch and Marianne Meese and Claire Phelps. Let's see, what else? Dmitry Obakov and Roberto Littenberger will be running a BMAB event just like last year and the years prior. I don't know. Is there anything else that's about that? No, I think that's about it. I hope you'll come support us. Carol Joy Cole will be there. We'll definitely have some fun and play lots of backgammon. All right, I think that's enough about upcoming tournaments. There are many more. If you ever want to check on the calendar, you can go to the USBGF website, or you can go to the Chicago Point website and find the calendar there. And I'll be right back. opening 5-5. So we had an opening 6-1 for Roberto, and then 5-5 for Rory. Pretty standard stuff here. 6-2 hits. Five three makes the point. Some people might be tempted to try to play safe, but it's not really safe. So you just want to do something proactive here. Rory made the 21. I don't know if he didn't look at making the 18, but I do think that it's the right idea there. I actually didn't catch whether Rory rolled a 5-3 or a 6-2, but neither one slots the 5 point. So I'm gonna have to just put one in here and see what it goes for. Now we got 3-3 for Roberto. Almost certainly want to make the 5 here, and the only question is what to do with the rest of it. That said, it doesn't make the 5 safely, and as a matter of fact, I say almost certainly. I am almost certainly incorrect about that. So Roberto is correctly bringing 2 down to start. Let's see if he can make the 7 or if he comes up with something a little safer. Yeah, good play by Roberto. Making the 5 was not the right idea because it's not safe, and your opponent already has a great board. 4-4, we're going to make the 5, and then what? Come down? Okay. The race is kind of close. Certainly, Rory has to consider stepping up, but didn't step up in this case. It was double take, and we got 5-5. So Rory's probably pretty happy he didn't step up from a race perspective. But in this case, stepping up, running out, in fact, was the right idea because you wanted to stay tight in the race. Now, 5-5, let's focus on the current play, Ben. We're going to make the ace and play safe from there. Yep, that's the right idea. 4-4 again. I think Rory's going to appreciate that. Keeps the race close. And now he just needs to roll a 5 or a 6 and get away. 4-3. Probably don't want to leave any shots, but I mean, you never want to, but it may be just the best way to use the pips. And that is the play that Roberto makes. 4-2 just stacks up, can't run. 5-1 is going to come down. The race isn't so close that you need to stay back. And so Roberto correctly assesses that. 6-2, we definitely don't want to leave any shots. So we're probably just going to clear from the back. Yep, that's what Roberto elects to do. 6-4 runs. Finally, Rory can stop wasting pips inside. 2-1, 2-3 is not as good. 2-1 would have been nice because you can make the 5 point, which you almost always want to do. Again, almost always. 2-3 is just going to make the 2, and this makes sense. There's not much else to do with it. 6-3, we don't really want to run that bad. I mean, by running, we're giving our opponent a chance to attack us, so Rory correctly just brings it in. 5-5, we're going to clear and continue to play to our race lead. 6-5, Rory has to run now, and it's not as unsafe, but certainly he could get hit. 5-2, takes checker off. 4-3, Rory's probably not going to run, but he might. Actually, it doesn't really. It's kind of a 50-50. If you don't run, you're hoping that you can stay for 2 rolls. But if you do get to stay for 2 rolls, there's a good chance you're going to lose your board. So this makes a lot of sense. Let's see how close it was out of curiosity. It's pretty close, but it's just the right idea. 6-2, 2-1, 4-1, 6-3. It's gonna be a tough race for Rory to win, but it's certainly possible. XG thinks that Rory wins this like 5% of the time. After 6-5, I suspect we're down to maybe 1 in 100 or so.
Like one after another. 5 rolls later.
2-1's not going to do it. He really needed to take some checkers off here. And 5-4 is going to make it gin. Both players are playing very well. From when I started transcribing, they're both playing around a 2.5. Six-3 is going to hit. 6-3 makes the anchor. This puts him in the game forever.
You don't want me to change checkers, you're changing the checkers out. You're putting them where they don't belong.
No, they went where they belong.
Roy's looking at running. He's not ahead in the race, but he's not exactly behind. Instead of running all the way, he should look at stopping on the 18. That way he has a spare checker to attack with in case Roberto runs away himself, which he may do here, but he also could just make or slot the 4-point, and he does that. A lot of these plays are not going to be either going to be fairly easy decisions or are going to be close between a lot of plays. So there isn't so much to talk about here. 6-1, we are looking at an interesting play here. Our opponent has two spots slotted, and so we can play more aggressively. Rory goes with 9-3, 8-7. This wasn't the right idea, but it's not a big deal. Roberto rolls a nice number, 4-2, which is able to hit and cover one of the points. Rory now has a 3-1 to play, and he's got to consider whether he wants to be on the 22 or the 24 here. He's pretty far down in the race, so he would like to play in a way that allows him to race. He goes with hitting on the 3-point, and Roberto correctly doubles, and Rory correctly passes. Both players are teasing a 2.0 now. All right, we got 6-2 to play for Rory. For Rory? No, for Roberto. I think out and downs are normally the right idea, but I'm not sure. So let's see what XG thinks. XG likes running all the way, but out and down it's a full size error, but it's close-ish, and sliding the 5 is also close-ish. But 24-16 from all the way from the back is the right idea.
That's my roll, right? You would move?
No, you rolled 16.
Oh, well, see? I think it's the same.
It's not funny. It's not funny. I don't appreciate the jokes. It's a very serious match.
And that's the play Roberto makes. 6-4. I believe that Rory's going to hit, come out. Yes, that's the idea. 4-5 is going to hit. It could anchor, but generally this game is a race, so you want to hit when you can, especially early in the game. Sixes are not great here. 3-6 is also not great. I think we're almost certainly going to have a cube after this. No? All right. I think I'm cubing this. Maybe it's too aggressive. Let's see what XG thinks. I mean, I guess it is too aggressive if Roberto didn't do it, but how bad is it? It's close. It's 0.03 because of the score. You know, it's not a thing that you would do normally because it's just too much. But 4-1 comes out for the anchor. 3-1 is either going to make the 5-point or hit. I suspect. Yes. Oh, really? He was just looking at it, but he thinks he has to hit. And actually does like hitting. This does keep with the theme that I just mentioned, which is early in the game you should hit. The idea behind making the 5 is that making the 5 is usually not wrong by much if it's wrong, but 2, your opponent already has an anchor that they're going to play from, and so hitting doesn't, it might add for the race, but it doesn't do much from potential to like prime and gammon and close out your opponent. In this case, it was correct to hit, and part of that I suspect is because the race was actually kind of close. Only about a 4-pip lead at the time, I believe it was. Now we've got a 3-1. He's leaving shots, and that is correct. 4-5 by Rory. He's going to slot 2 points. The race is pretty close. In fact, Roberto is behind when he's on roll, so he can't double this. Also, part of the reason you double aggressively at the score is that when you win gammons, you want to win 4 points. And at this score, in this position, there really aren't any gammons. There's very few. So it's not worth the risk. You want to just hold off and see if you can win the game and if you can create a nice little edge and then double then. Roberto's still down in the race. As long as he knows that, he's certainly not going to double. Something to keep in mind, Rory's take point is actually fairly normal. And what that means is in a money game, you normally take with about 1 in 4 chances to win. And at this score, the same is true. It's about 1 in 4. Now, if there's threat of Rory losing gammons, he has to take he has to be a bigger favorite. He has to win more than 1 in 4 times. But like I said, there's no gammons in this position, so therefore Roberto doesn't actually need to double aggressively. And in fact, Rory now has to look at it because what he knows is that at the score, Roberto's take point is as high as 1 in 3. If this is towards the end of the game where Roberto does not have a chance to recube, he would have to win 1 in 3 times in order to take. Now, that said, if it's early in the game, which it kind of is still, there's a lot of race left, Roberto can take pretty normally, maybe even a little bit more than normal. So it's just going to be a pretty boring race from here, probably. 4-1, 6-5. Roberto's going to look at whether or not he can clear and just turn this into a pure race. He's only ahead 2 pips if he does that, and he does have some contact, meaning that he does sometimes get a shot from Rory being on his 10-point or Rory's 17-point. 15-point. Bad math. 5-3 from Rory. He cannot clear that point, which is part of what Roberto's counting on by staying back. Now, the air quotes pure play that XG likes is just to slot the other point, but this makes a lot of sense. And they're all very close, so it doesn't really matter. 3-1. Now, Rory's going to go ahead and slot. All right, Roberto rolled another 6-5. So now he has to consider running. He is ahead by 9 pips now. And more importantly, I suspect that if he doesn't run, he puts himself in a weird position where he may leave a shot instead of Rory. Now that he's the one that's ahead in the race, he has to consider just creating a pure race. So let's see what XG thinks. Yes, it is very clear in this case. You create a pure race, you're up 9 pips in the race, which is more than 10%. 10% being relevant, sometimes, not always. It's not a hard rule. 6-3, Roberto's going to just bring it around and come in probably perfectly, but this is good too. It's not clear to me which one's better. Roberto's got to think about cubing, but he knows that in a race like this, he doesn't need to cube all that aggressively, so he does not do it. In this position, he's just going to bring them both in from the back. XG slightly prefers slotting the ace, but it's not a big deal. 6-3, Rory's pretty happy with this. He's going to bring it in perfectly. 4-4. Roberto loves this roll. It puts him at a clear edge in the race, takes 2 checkers off, and he's going to consider doubling, except Rory rolled double 6, which is huge. So now Rory's probably the favorite, but it's going to be close. 5. Oh, my. 5-5. Oh, wow.
A big number. That looked like a 1. And it landed on the 5.
That looked like a 1.
Crazy sequences here. Roberto has to consider doubling. He has 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 checkers to Rory's 10 checkers, but he's up in the race by 5 pips in a 31 pip race. It's a big number. What Roberto's probably going to do is figure out the EPC, which is called the effective pip count. What that does is it adjusts the number of pips that you need to get off for wastage. And what wastage is if you were to take a checker off from the 6 point with a 6, you did not waste anything. But if you roll a 6 and take a checker off from the 4, you wasted 2 pips. And so effective pip count helps you understand that even if you have, let's say you only have 10 pips to get off 10 checkers, they're all on the ace, you actually have to roll more pips than that. And so however Roberto got there, he decided this was a double. He is correct. Now the question is, does Rory have enough chances to take this? Now, Rory's take point is about 21%, and it's a hard thing to do. He has to now, again, figure out the effective pip count, or however he likes to determine his racing chances, and decide if he has at least 21%. I'm looking at the computer. Makes it easy for me. He has exactly 23.82%. Sorry, after double take, he has... We don't know. It won't tell me because he hasn't decided yet. I'm going to go ahead and take and see what happens. See what it says he has if he takes. 24% after he takes. Now, why would that number be higher? I don't know, actually. I think that, yeah. Once I reevaluated it on XG, both numbers are about the same, and they should be because Rory can't redouble. So, his winning chances should be the same whether there's no double or he goes double take. Is that true? Let me think a little more before I talk. No double. No, they could be different because if Roberto doesn't double, then he doesn't actually have to win the game. He just has to force Rory to pass. In this case, Rory does pass. It's very close, but this was a small take. Let's see what it dings him here for passing. So XG says that was a 100 take, which, by the way, is a blunder. So, you may be thinking, oh, that's not close. But 1 pip could have changed that. So 1 pip worse would have probably made it a pass. 1 pip better may have made it 200 or bigger. In these late game cue positions, close is relative. It's not the same close as you would expect from a checker play. So now it is 6-11, meaning it's 7 away, 2 away. Roberto is still looking to find a gammonish position to double aggressively out of. And certainly this might qualify. He may hit here. Let's find out. Yes. So he's hoping that he does not get hit back and that he can double this and try to win 4 points. Unfortunately for Roberto, fortunately for Rory, he does get hit. And Roberto rolls a 1-6 and comes out. 6-4 from Rory. Rory has no way to play this safe, so he has to consider hitting. Also this play. Yeah, so if you hit, you don't have any structure, and you don't have a board, and you have multiple checkers potentially back. There's also this safe play, which is 14 ways to get hit out of 36. You get hit a lot. It is actually, you get hit slightly less than if you were to make the 4 point. Let's see what XG likes. XG likes this play, and it's not close. I don't know if that's because of the shots or what. I'd have to play around with the position a bit, but it was a great play by Rory. 6-3, Rory's going to go ahead and just make the 3 point, play safe here, make some structure. 3-2. 6-5. Rory has to leave a shot somewhere. I don't see a safe play. So he's looking at minimum shots. It makes a lot of sense to me. Yep, that is the correct play. 6-3. So Roberto is down in this race by almost 30, even after the play. Yep, this is the right idea. We're just going to make the point, and we're not afraid to leave the midpoint because we have an alternative midpoint, which is the 18 point. 4-2, Rory makes the 2 point, eliminating the shots. That's the right idea. 6-3, Roberto's just going to play one of the plays that creates structure or the ability to make future structures. So this makes a lot of sense and is the correct play. 3-3, Rory loves this. I guess it's not actually as good as it looks, but the idea of doubles, helps you clear points, helps you make new points. So, his first reaction was probably that he was happy with it. In reality, it's fine. Let's see what XG thinks. It is a joker. It's a joker. He plays 3 down and 1 to the 3 point. This is the correct play. As awkward as that looks, you're not supposed to make the 5 because if you make the 5, you then either have to leave a shot or stack the 3 point, both of which are very ugly plays. 5-3 makes the 2. 3-1 does play safe. I believe Rory is going to play from 10 to 6. Yep. The other plays are pretty bad. He wins an extra about 8% by making this play versus playing from 6 to 2 or making the 5. 5-4 is going to make the 3 point. It's a great number. 6-1, Rory's going to have to just go ahead and stack the 3. He really does not want to get hit right now. Roberto has a great position if he hits him. Now, in this kind of a position, this 5-3, you cannot run from the back. Rory is in a very fragile position. You don't want to give him any chances to hit you on the outside on the 18 point. So you just have to play in and hope that it works out. Hope that Rory rolls a bad number right now. And he does. 6-4 is a bad number. It's going to leave shots. The question is where? Minimum shots would be putting the extra checker on the 4 point. Even though it's a little bit more shots, I suspect he's going to go ahead and make the 4. And that's going to give 13 shots instead of 11. The reason to do this is it creates a point that you can use later to not leave shots again. Now, let's check what XG thinks. Yes, XG likes that play. The safer play, even though it leaves less shots now, it leaves more shots in the long run. So I have to make this play. And Roberto's going to consider doubling this. I don't think it's necessary. I think that there are not that many gammons, so there's no reason to double this. But let's see what XG says. It's pretty bad. Roberto only wins this about 40% of the time, 41% of the time. And you just don't need to double unless you win enough gammons. And in this position, he only wins about 4% gammons. I'm actually gonna take a look at this position while he's thinking. We can add some more gammons here and see what XG thinks. All right, 6-5 for Roberto. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to make this position a double. You just don't win enough. All right, so 6-5 for Roberto. He does have to leave with one of the checkers on the 18. He has the option once he does that to come out to the 18 or just to clear the 18. Now the question is, can he take after any of those plays? That's a tough question. At the score, he's going to have to win this game 23% of the time in order to take. And 23% is pretty normal for money. So he's got a lot of experience evaluating, versus this take point and trying to understand what he needs. And as a matter of fact, looking at XG, the play that wins the most for him is to play from 18 to 7. So he would take that one of those front checkers and bring it all the way around. But that play only wins about 21% of the time. So it's about 2% short. I'll do a quick rollout since he's thinking. Yeah, this play from 24 to 13 only wins about 17%. So I suspect that he realizes this is just not going to be enough to win. And he's going to have to pass and play from 7-away Crawford. Now, where does that 23% come from? It comes from 7-away Crawford. If he passes, then he has to win in order to win the match, he has to get every single point from that point forward. And that happens, according to our match equity table, 23% of the time. If he takes the cube, he actually can only get to, what would that be? He can only get to 3-away, 2-away. So that's the other half of the equation. I won't go through all the take point math since they went ahead and moved on here. But he correctly passed. All right, and Royce opened this with a 4-2. There will not be any cube decisions in this game because it is Crawford. That means that neither player can use the doubling cube for one game. Rory rolls double 2. Great opening for him. He make the 4-point in his opening roll, and the double 2 allows him to step up. 6-1 for Roberto. Now, normally you wouldn't want to leave that checker on the 8-point by itself, but Roberto's going to consider leaving it because of the score in the match. He doesn't care if he gets gammoned. And then because Rory already has that forward anchor. Looking at XG here, XG likes stepping up and picking up that checker. So instead of being aggressive about leaving the spare checker on the 8, XG wants Roberto to come out to the 18. The next best play that it likes is this play that he made.
I literally did think about it.
So this is a good play. Not the best play, but still a good idea. Double 4. Rory immediately makes the best play. There is another option, but this one's better. 5-1. So again, Roberto's not worried about getting gammon. So he has to consider coming in on the 20. But in this case, he has something really nice to do with the 5, which is make the 8-point and try to make the prime. So he just goes ahead and puts his checker on the 1-point, which, maybe he gets primed in, but he has a nice structure himself, so he's not so worried about it. 1-6, unfortunately for Roberto, does not hit because both the 1 and the 6 are blocked. Double 2 for Rory. Rory has to consider making the 5 here. It does release some of the pressure on Roberto, so he doesn't mind having the 7-point. Early in the game, as a general rule, you prefer the 5-point to the 7, but that may not be true here. Where 5 rolls in, and you really like your prime, and in fact, you can make even more of a prime if you leave it. So he opts to come down all the way, and Roberto does roll a hitting number. So this case, it was not the outcome that Rory was looking for. All right, 6-4 for Roberto. He's got to look at running. I mean, it's the immediate candidate I see, and it's what he does. And in fact, it is very much right. 2-6. Slots the ace point. Excuse me. 5-4. I think. Okay, yeah, it makes the back of the prime. That makes a lot of sense. 2-6. Rory's going to jump out, try to get away. 2-3. Roberto's going to hit. And he starts to reach for this back checker. The reason being that he doesn't really want that back checker to get hit. That was the right idea. 3-1. I believe Rory's going to come right up to the edge, but there are some other options, including this play that he just made. He does opt to slot. In this case, that was not correct. He should have come to the edge of the prime and tried to get away. It's not a big deal, but, it's certainly all about the little things. 5-3 for Roberto. He came in and down. Now we have a 2. No, we have a, 2-6. Probably just going to make Okay, yeah, slots the 3 and makes the 5. This is better than making both points because it gives you a better chance of making all 6 points later. 6-2 is interesting. You have to consider slotting the 4. It's the next point you want to make. And if you choose not to make it this time, then you have to make kind of an awkward play, which is stacking the 5 and the 6. And once you do that, the only way you make the point is with 2-1. So he goes ahead and makes it. This is the right play. There are some other options, but this one is right. 6-4, Rory goes ahead and makes the 3. 4-1. Roberto's probably going to go ahead and finish the prime and play the 4 to the deuce.
Oh, 1-4. I thought it was 1-5.
And that makes a lot of sense. It is the right play.
That's not 1-5.
6-2, Rory doesn't mind that. Rolling 6s means he doesn't have to play the 6s. 6-4, I think Roberto's going to not break the prime. And the reason for that is that you want Rory to roll a number that he has to play. If he rolls anything except for double 6, he's going to have to break his prime. And you really would prefer that he does not have a prime in case in the future you get hit and you have a chance to come in. The reason he hesitated to make this play is that it looks kind of unsafe. Oh my, and Rory does roll double 6. Holy smokes, that's a great roll by Rory. 6-1, very annoying for Roberto. He certainly wishes he would have broken the prime last time, knowing that he has to break it this way. But Rory still has to roll a 4. He still has to get pretty lucky, and he didn't do it. So he's going to clear from the back. He went ahead and cleared both because he does not have to play 5s, so it's not a problem. Wow, and Roberto's definitely getting unlucky in this match, no doubt about it. They're both playing very well, but a lot of these little breaks are not going Roberto's way. 4-3. This one's much better. He can clear from the back. He's going to win this race most of the time, so he just wants to not get hit. That's the big idea. 4-1. Even though this is technically unlucky, it's not that big of a deal. He doesn't expect to clear that point every time. He just doesn't want to have to leave a shot. 6-4. So this is kind of interesting because Rory can just stack like he is, and this prevents him from ever getting gammoned, but it gives up some race equity. And in fact, he does win 3% more by hitting shots, but he's certainly going to not win the race as much. 3-3. So now Rory does have to leave, and Roberto's hoping to make the point somehow. But instead, Roberto rolls one of the other good numbers, which takes at least one checker off, but in reality takes off 2 checkers. 6-5 is forced to run. If Rory were to play the 6 or the 5 from the 10, he then would be required to play the other number from the back. So he just goes ahead and plays them both from the back. From here, we just got a pretty standard race. Roberto is a big favorite here. I can tell you exactly in just a moment. 96%, big favorite. Well, Roberto rolls a number that misses. This certainly gives Rory a chance, but it's still pretty thin. Takes him up to 15%. Wow, Rory's all the way up to 25% here. I mean, he actually has a real chance. 3-2 doesn't do it, though. He really wants to make sure he takes 2 checkers off as much as possible. To do that, he's going to play from 6-4. And he can miss one more time. He's disappointed that he missed the first time, obviously. 5-4. Rory has to roll a double, and Roberto cannot roll a double. 5-3. All right, he's going to have double 2s or better if Roberto does not roll a double, and he doesn't. Doesn't roll it. All right, we're on to the next game. These guys are still both playing very well, both under a 2.5. This is grandmaster level play. Love to see it. So now Roberto is 6 away and Rory is 1 away. What this means for the cube is that Roberto should try to double as soon as possible because Rory can pass freely. If he passes, Roberto still has to win 3 games, which he has to win if he takes. So Roberto can't play any games. He just has to send the cube immediately. This board's interesting. Chrysolite board with, excuse me. I believe it's a leather chrysolite board. It's got some nice action on the dice. Sometimes translates to some extra spinning. Roberto is playing aggressively, which is correct. There was a better way to do it, but that's okay. It's still the right idea. Now we have 4-2 from Rory, so he goes ahead and comes in, and then it looks like it was a 2-1. I missed it from Roberto, so he makes the prime. 6-4. This is interesting. Rory doesn't want to get gammoned. Gammons are very expensive for him. Usually the best way to do that would be to make the 21-point anchor, but he has the option now to make the Roberto's 8-point. It's also a good anchor. It's not often played, but any anchor on that side of the board should prevent many gammons from happening. That said, he can hit over here on his 9-point, or you can make the 2. These are all good options. Let's see what the bot likes. The computer does prefer making the 17 to the 2. The 2 is the next best play. Got distracted there for a moment. Let's see what happened. Got 6, 5, 6, 3. So Roberto, I don't know what he was looking at, but he can do a couple things here. He can make the 10-point. He can make the 18-point. He can make the 21-point. These are all decent anchors, but at the end of the day, he should keep with what he has been doing, play aggressively, and hit on the 4. A lot of options here. Definitely a tough play, but XG thinks it's clearly right and wins the most, it looks like. Yes, to make this play. Good play. Good play, good play. And unfortunately for him, Rory does roll the 4 and has to play a 6 somewhere. I believe Rory's going to come down, yes, from this. Let's see if that was the right idea. Yes, it was. 4-3. So now Roberto's probably going to make the anchor, and the question is what to do with the 3. There are some options, but he does make the right play on plus. So basic level of analysis here. 5-2. Interesting. 2-4. So Roberto's going to hit, and I think coming up from the back might be the right idea. Nope, coming down is the right idea. They're all close enough. But he played it right. 2-6. Rory comes out. 2-4 again by Roberto. And this is an interesting roll. It's not very often that you have this kind of weird opportunity to break the midpoint and make points out of it. XG does like the play. It's very close, though. And making the 9 and coming up from the 20 is the next best play. Rory rolled a 7 and made the point. I didn't catch which 7, but it's not going to matter. I'm just going to make the point. 6-4. Is that what I just saw? 6-4? Yes. Roberto comes all the way around. So Roberto is down in the race by almost 20 pips after the play, after Rory's play. So Rory has to consider making a safe play because he's up so much. That said, the safe play is only safe for this roll, and it really hurts his distribution quite a bit. So, this is one of those ones where I'm not sure that I would have made the right play, but coming down from the mid is, in fact, the right play. Yeah, this safe play looks a little better, but it's still just not the right idea. No fault, I think, of Rory. It's a tough play for, I think, most people. 4-3 for... What just happened? Oh, 4-3 for Rory? Is that right? Yeah. Four one. Yeah, and this is the awkward thing that can happen when you start trying to play safe. He hasn't. Well, the 5-4 was actually incorrect. It looks like he was supposed to just give the shots, but it's tough when you know you're up a lot in the race. You really don't want to give shots when you might just roll double 4 and get lucky. So these are tough plays. I couldn't really tell you if I would have gotten them right or not, but so far it's working out for Rory. Also, Rory's still playing very well, under a 3. In fact, right now it says 2.6, but that doesn't include the first few games, so it could definitely be better than that. Rory's going to go ahead and make the 1 point. This is the right play. I know I've talked about how he's been a little too safe here and there, but this is the right idea. 5-1 for Roberto. He's just going to bring it in, most likely. 4-2 is really good. 4-5 is really good. 4-4 is really good. 4-1 isn't as good, and that's illegal.
Legal, right? Oh no, it's not. I apologize.
4-1. What does he do with 4-1? I think he's going to make the 3. No, he's going to come down probably. I'm not sure. Let's see what XG likes. Yes, XG likes coming down. You can either come all the way down or you can play from 2 to 1. Funny enough, XG likes 2 to 1. I'm not really sure why, but it does.
Gotta do it faster than that, bro. I've been telling you.
5-3. This is the right idea. 5-1. Well, Rory played it correctly for this roll for sure. He has to consider not hitting just because he is ahead in the race, but by hitting, he does create more time for him to come around or bring these checkers in. One 3. He has to consider breaking the 9. I think he just saw it and he decided not to do it, but it was the right idea to break the 9. 6-1 comes out all the way. 4-2 is just going to come in. Four. Just makes the play as kind of allowed here. He doesn't want to break his board, so this is what he can do. 6-2, Rory would not reroll. He loves any number that doesn't leave immediate shots because Roberto is most of the time going to have to leave, but in this case, in fact, he has to break his board. And he does so in the correct fashion. Yep, and Rory rolls double 3. It's a great roll. Takes a checker off. Leaves safe distribution. As you can tell from the lack of excitement in my voice, this match is basically over. In fact, I would say it's about as over as it gets. 4-3. XG thinks that Roberto literally cannot win this match. We know that probably isn't true, but XG is rounding because, you know, it's like double 6, double 6, double 6, double 6. Hope you've enjoyed this match. I know that there will be some more commentated matches throughout the weekend, hopefully with people that are, I don't know, grandmasters instead of just Master Class 3. Thank you to the USBGF, the ABT, to Chrysloid. We also have the Charlotte. This is the Charlotte Backgammon Invitational. This was round 2 of the Masters jackpot. Rory Pascar will now go on to play a round 3 match. And yeah, thanks for watching. This is Ben Friesen. Hope to see you at an upcoming tournament. And we'll talk to you next time.
Here, I assume. I'm playing Mike Ori next. You're gonna lose graciously, actually.
Test 1, 2.
1 minute.
Well, congratulations, Rory. You beat a
No,
tough
don't say
player.
congratulations.
I haven't done anything yet.
You beat a tough player.
I haven't even cashed yet.
Well, but you won that match.
Yeah.
So there's only 4 left, right? How many places are they paying?
2.
So you'll make some money. You'll hedge, right?
No.
You won't? Oh, you're not a hedger?
I am, but I don't think he'll give me equity, and I'm clearly a
Who are you
better
playing against?
Mike Ori.
Really? He won't hedge it?
Not if he won't give me equity, and I'm.
Oh, you want equity.
Yeah, I mean,
Gotcha. So,
I'm not. Me hedging equal
I get it.
is
I
me
get it.
giving up equity.
I get it. So when
barrel with those rolls.
Please don't pick up the dice.
Oh, yeah,
My
yes.
clock is still running.
Yes, you are right. Sorry.
Roll again.
Oh. Wow. Every roll has been a double for you so far.
I won't talk about your rolls if you don't talk about mine.
No, I talk about whatever I want.
Last call for the hotel room pre-roll. If you have not checked in at all or gotten your name tag or paid for anything, but you want to be in that event and you're staying at the hotel, come on up.
It's you. Yeah, it's you.
Thanks, I didn't realize.
Oh, I thought it was me.
Let's play nice.
Okay, but I'm playing now.
You're grabbing the dice, you're talking while I'm on roll, you're telling me I roll great, and then you're redoubling for the game. Is that playing nice in your book?
Oh, you didn't want me to double?
No, no,
Oh, okay, I
I'm
didn't
just
know
saying.
that.
I'm just saying.
Okay. Play you again.
Did I say? I mean, come on. off your phone, please? You need to answer it, or are you good?
No.
Okay. I thought this was your number. I got this one. I thought you have a hold on this number. You'll like four in a row.
Yeah.
You literally like 4 in a row.
Hello, everyone. The draw for the hotel room free roll has been drawn. You should get a text message with the name of your opponent. If you are alive in anything else, just keep playing that. You don't have to play the hotel room free roll at any particular time. We're going to take this real casually because it's 1-point matches. So if you and your opponent are available, go ahead and play that. If not, no worries. Kristen, Westerman?
5.
Yeah,
And then a
did.
1.
It did. I thought you cubed me there.
Why would I cube you there?
Huh?
Why would I cube you there? Do you think it was a cube there?
Huh?
Do you think it was a cube? If I roll a 1, I lose.
Yeah.
You redouble and I lose. How can I roll? How can I double there?
That's true.
How can I double there? I'm not a favorite.
Well, you are favored, but you are
No,
not.
I'm not. I have 2 rolls. If I roll a 1 in either of the rolls, I lose. And you can roll a double. All the checkers are not on the board.
You're fine.
Thank you. If I'm a favorite, it's like 52% or 54. I think you're a small favorite.
Yeah,
Actually.
you're very, very tiny.
I think you're a favorite. Actually.
No.
I could be wrong.
No, because I have a checker on the 5 point.
No, you had 3 here. What are you talking about?
No, the roll before. The roll before. 4 against 4.
It was never 4 checkers against 4 checkers.
Huh?
It was never 4 checkers against 4 checkers.
Yeah. But you had the 1 empty, and you had 1 on 2 points, so it was
Hey, Paul. Paul. Can you ask them noise?
Attention everyone, please try to keep the noise in the room down out of respect for the folks who are playing in their matches. Please, everyone, can you please lower your voices, try to keep the noise down.
you know that one.
Todd Porter, you in the room? Give us a wave.
12 minus 3 is 9. Not enough. Okay, I think this is a cube. So, 7 and 8. 7 and 8 is 15. 15 minus 3 is 12. 13.
Laura Granger.
12 picks. 1, 2 and a half, 1, 2, okay.
Jeff Olzo.
if you notice, I didn't gobble it.
This one you got to think about. Not all of them are easy.
I think I don't want you to lose to nothing, so to embarrass you, you know. So I'm gonna give you a point.
What?
I give you a point. I give you a point. Yeah.
Oh, very kind of you. You're a sweet gentleman. 6-1.
6-1.
Bob Azaria. John Drake.
What happened?
Sure. Yeah, I'm probably doubling. Just give me a second.
I take it in the air.
I am down 6-1. I guess. 1 second.
No, I don't want it to hit the board.
Huh?
I don't want it to hit the board. I want it to grab it in the air. Up! That was not good. That was not good.
Oh, I didn't see the hit.
Alright, I see you on the river. That was a good roll.
Please don't do that.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you. No problem.
Don't worry about it. Oh. Oh, you're on the wall.
You wanted me to see.
Yeah. Come in.
I did. If you stop hitting me, I come in more. Do not want to hit.
Oh. One more.
No, 3.
Okay.
No dead chokers. No 3s.
Yes. We have both.
I can. Oh, I can't play a 3. I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
All right.
That's why I actually intentionally say it out loud, so if I'm wrong, you can call it.
Thomas Back.
1. Don't do that.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah. I apologize.
It's okay.
Ah, shoot. Shoot. Sure.
I don't think you had a checker here.
I came in with one.
Oh, you're right. I hit. Right. How did I beat the 2-3-4 back game? That was. Time.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought you played it very well. Really well.
Wow. That's the problem with the back game.
You
You
do
either get
lose again.
gammon,
Yeah.
you either get gammon or you win.
Yeah. Short break if you don't mind.
Yeah. Oh.
Short.
That's not it? No. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. If someone took my clock.
Is that one not yours?
I thought that was right. Maybe this is it?
No, this is my dad's. That one probably is yours.
Okay, that is right then? Okay. But take a picture of the time, because they'll come back from break and say, where's the clock? We'll have to set it on this time, because I need to take the clock.
Okay. Yeah, I wish you had gotten it before that match started.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead. And you know how to set this one, right?
You have to switch the clock, but this is my
Huh?
clock. I need to take the clock.
Oh, let them see.
Yeah, they're taking a picture. You get the picture?
I can't take a picture of it.
Let me take a picture first.
Okay.
I can't take a picture.
Sometimes the picture doesn't show up. 1 second. Remember? That's good. Oh no. Oh, it's a video. 23, 24, 22, 21. 23, 24. I have 22, 23, 22, 21.
Yeah.
about we say the loser gets 600? So that would be basically their fee.
Loser gets 600.
Yeah.
Sure, that's an entry fee inside pool.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. That gameman won me $600 at least. That gameman won me 600 at least.
Yeah.
That was a good game to get. Whew. Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. Yeah. Ed. You know, hurtful. Hurtful is what I'm saying. I have feelings, you know.
He doesn't have any fucking feeling. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Double bird?
I'm gonna go like this.
I got the double bird?
Yeah.
That's on the stream, you know. That's Ed Corey. Yeah, we're streaming. And there's a player cam. Yeah, everyone in the world just saw that. Okay, I can make that anchor, but you're still blocking shit. So make a point in my board.
Leave me alone.
You leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. I lied. I'm gonna try and hit.
All right. Let's see.
I hit. 1 second. Making this would be nice. That duplicates my 5. Making that would be nice. One. Well, I can save them all except for that one. I thought I had. So 2. Your board's just as good as mine. It has to be a take.
Except you have 50% racing.
Race is even, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you have this guy. I don't have guys here, so it's even. I wanted to get that guy out. So 6 is easy. We bet 5 on 1s, 2s, 3s.
That's 2. I don't know.
2 has been called.
No,
3.
this is 3. Go back to that shit again.
You don't see that very often. Original. Now original.
Ah, shit.
It was pretty good. I'm not going to escape yet. It's too early.
What?
Played the one first.
No, we're playing legal move.
No, this is legal. 1 and 2.
Okay.
This match is Don't do that. Mix them up, he says. Better than yours. Mine is better than yours. Double threes. For sure. I think maybe mine is double threes is my best roll.
Just play.
Yeah. Ain't that a tease?
Yes. Yes.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Go roll.
Oh, motherfucker.
Good match.
It wasn't a good match, so I'm not going to shake your hand.
Always shake hand. Unless you're bitter enemies, you should always shake hand. That was crazy, man. Huh?
I got frustrated.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I could tell.
I can't believe, when your opponent can hit everything and you cannot hit one.
I saw it. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Unfortunately, I let him sucker me into a hedge. But he was leading 6-5. And I agree, yeah. I got, so there's a little bit of equity there.